here is, how much? Well, it's probably like a foot, a little more, something like that. Like 25 centimeters for people who live in centimeter land. So centimeter is a little less than half an inch, so I'm thinking like maybe people who live in centimeter land, everything is a little less than half the size. So I think that theory probably holds up. People, let me know if you live in centimeter land where they don't use inches, please let me know. I'm putting these two together so I can make two of the same length because these are going to be earrings. But I'm going to tell you a secret in a second. Here it is. The secret is, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I want to make some earrings. I want them to be wild and crazy and fun. So that's all I know. So you guys will have to help me with the rest. So here's what I think. Oh, I'm going to start bending it with the cutters. Look how silly am I? Hey, I'm not even paying attention. Where are my pliers anyway? Oh, here they are. Okay, so I have this new idea. So we're not going to take the very middle of the wire. We're going to take about that much, like, I don't know, 5-6 inches, like 10, 12 centimeters. And we're going to make our loop right there. Okay, so this is our top loop. It's right there. You see it? And then we're going to make this into a swirl. Okay? So swirls are fun and easy. You just hold it very tight and then wrap everything else around it. And then you make it as tight as you want or loose as you want. You make it as much space as you want in there or not lack of space. Right? Okay. And now this is our top loop. And we're going to pinch it right there. You'll see why later. But we want to make it just like that. See that? Okay. Now, this part is just going to be amoeba-ish. We're just going to make wild, crazy arms doing whatever wild, crazy arms do when you have an amoeba. It's kind of an octopus amoeba hybrid. Like if an octopus and an amoeba had a baby, this is what it would look like. And I think that's happened in nature before. Like I think octopuses are very attracted to amoebas. I mean, you can, if you know more about science, and you can let me know if that theory holds up, but it makes a lot of sense to me. So this looks like a whole bunch of jibber jabber, but I do have a plan in mind. And my plan goes something like this. I'm going to need about 2 inches of this to scarf the top. This is still the top loop, even though there's all these other things that distract you. I'm not forgetting that's the top loop. This is my little swirl on the side. So this is all going like this. We want these arms kind of tight. So just do that. Sometimes you got to cross over and bend it back. But when we're hammering, which we're about to do in a second, you don't want any wires to cross, because if you cross wires and then hammer them, boom, you'll break it. That's just how it goes. So somehow this is going to cross over and scarf our top loop. You'll see, I think. Unless you turn the video off, then you're not even paying attention right now, and you're missing this whole part, which could be really life-changing. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about what car insurance you use. Just want to let you know that I don't know anything about car insurance, so all I know is whichever one you pick, make sure that you save 15 minutes or less, or something like that. I don't know what that means. It's a little man. He's a dancing man with an antenna. He's like a dancing man, but they run him on a wire. They have this wire going across the top, and so he's attached. So he's animated while he's dancing. Ooh, switch. 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 Anyway, let's make another one to match it, so we don't have to do the same thing with both, but we want them to generally look similar because they're earrings. So I'm going to try to hold this one up to this one and just kind of make it match. Okay, I think that's pretty close. Now it's hammering time. Get a block of wood, piece of leather, or something. You probably don't even need it, but something a little bit soft, and a nice hunk of metal. You don't have to get a perfectly sculpted little teeny tiny baby anvil. By the way, people ask me, where did you get your baby anvil? Obviously, the mother and the papa anvil, had a litter, and I picked one of their babies and bought it. And this was the one, and I've been nourishing it. I've been feeding it. I've been feeding it steel filings every day, and it's growing healthy and strong. So anyway, just get an old hammer, and I find this doesn't hurt your lap at all. You'd be surprised. It's actually very relaxing and comfortable. You could do it on your table, but it might be a little dangerous for your table unless you put something equally soft. But your lap is like not too soft. It's firm, but it's it's a little bit padded, so the sound and the vibration is absorbed, so that all the hard stuff gets the metal, and it doesn't go into the floors and shake the floors or shake your table like if you were to hit it somewhere else. I find it's a little too loud for me, especially in this room. That is echoey. So I just take a little, you can take earplugs. You can just take a couple pieces of cotton, just shove them in your ear for a second. That'll do the job. How flat do you want them to be? Well, that depends on you. Do you want these hammer marks? Do you want it extra flat? If you just hammer it a little bit just to get the roundness out of it, it'll make it stronger, a lot stronger. But then if you hammer it more, it stretches out flatter. So that's a cool look, but it also gets a little bit weaker if it gets too flat. So it's up to you. You just basically do a bunch of these and just see what you like. Just try to get even at it. Try to get an even amount of flatness, however much you put. There we go. Look at that, it looks nice. If you do get those marks, sometimes if you go back over it with a hammer and hit in between the marks, it'll take them out. It'll like flatten them so they disappear. And then sometimes you have a little more marks on one side than the other, depends. Sometimes you can flip it, hammer it on both sides. Sometimes you can go down a little bit and hammer it a little bit all the way around and then come back and do another round. It's, just enjoy it. It's fun. You get to beat stuff and you don't have to go to jail for it. Now, these would make great earrings as is, but sometimes I always say I should just stop right here and just put earring hooks on them. Like turn this into another swirl and just have fun. Maybe someday. I think I'll do that next. But in any case, I had a plan, and I'm going to try to stick to it just to see what will happen. My plan was to now fold this guy. Now, this wire is going to be harder, much harder to deal with because it's stronger, but it's not immovable, so don't be afraid. You're not going to break it. You can still bend it. So I want to bring this guy across here. This is our top loop, remember? Don't forget, this is our top loop. I'm going to bring this guy across like this and start to scarf him. Look at that. And go around. I'm going to go around a few times to make the scarf a little bit decorative. Plus, I got to use that up anyway, right? So it's going to be a little interesting. I gave myself a bit more than I needed, and I'm going to use it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Look at that. I'm going to use all of it. I might even not need to cut it. And come around. What you want is, at the very end, you want to have just enough to tuck it. So you want it to come halfway across the loop. So I'm going to cut just the littlest bit. And there, now we have a very sharp edge. We had a sharp edge anyway. So we want to tuck it in and down. In towards the loop and down into that little crevice that we created. So you're going to grab it from different angles till you get good at this. But basically you're pinching it in and then you're turning it and pinching it down. Sometimes you got to really muscle it. Sometimes you got to grab it from a few different directions. Make sure you really squeezed it in. Don't be afraid. You be firm with it. And then you test it. Oh yeah, super smooth, no scratch, right? Now what's our next part? Captain, what is our next mission? Well, ooh, that's really tight there. Now I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to bend these guys around, like basically make them all 3D-ish. I'm going to wrap them around like they're a bunch of arms, just coming around and doing their own thing. And maybe I'll bend them different directions. Like this one will bend them up like this. And then bend them down like that, like a real squiggle. I learned this from when I was making those octopus pendants. Like you can just have so much fun with this. But in general, what I want to do is I want to get kind of all this stuff smushed into one area because that's going to be the part for the earring. So see if I can move this swirl down here more like that and kind of fold these guys over. This is turning into a mess and I love it. Oh, it's just glorious. It's a glorious mess. Look at that. That's so weird. It's weird and it's wrong and it's different and that's what makes it amazing. All right. Curl this guy up in here. Let's move over here. We keep going off camera. That's not fair. We want to see everything. Okay. Let's curl this. Let's see. What is happening here? What is this monstrosity? I don't like that sharp corner. I want to make that more of a curve. Sometimes you can just use your fingers. There's no right or wrong. Like this is really just, it just is what it is. Like it's just craziness. So I do want that swirl to stay right there. So that's the only thing I'm not trying to move too much. But I want him to twist around more like that. I'm kind of learning too. I don't know what I want, which makes it a little weirder, or a lot weirder. But like I said, I just want these guys to be crinkly all over the place. So I'm gonna fold that out like that. Whoops. That guy intruded into my swirl. I want to leave the swirl intact. That's the only thing I know. Everything else can get crinkled all over the place. All right, so you might have thought it looked a lot prettier before I crinkled it all up like this. And maybe it did. Let's take this guy, see if we can do him a little differently. Let's do the same thing in the beginning, which is, what was that? It was to take this and put it across here. Whoops. Take this and put it across our top loop. Okay. All right, no, we're bending it that way. All right, now I remember, and get it over there and start wrapping. Okay. And here's the crazy part. I didn't like this first one at all. And so I just put it aside and I wanted to make something out of the second one. I started really liking the second one, but then the second one looked really cool, but then I had to make it look more like the first one. So I kind of messed with it some more. And eventually I came back to the first one. I was like, wait a minute, now I like it again. I actually like it better. And so it's like an allegory for life. Like, we judge ourselves too harshly. Like, and you'll find this with art. You'll find it with life, with everything. You're like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this isn't working. No, I don't like this. Oh, ew, this is not how I planned. And then if you put it down and you step away and you come back, you're like, wait a minute, pick it up again. Ooh, I kind of like it now. It's different. All expectations are gone. We just let it go and we come back and now we can really appreciate it in its pure beauty. And like, how many times in life were you like, oh, the situation is horrible. It's absolutely awful. And then years later, you look back on it and you're like, I could have made that work. That wasn't as bad as I thought. I didn't really need to leave when I did, or, you know, but a lot of you have a story like that. So learn from that for your life and your art. You think something is ugly, don't throw it out, don't crumple it up, don't tear it up or set it on fire. Put it down, go have some soup, go watch some cartoons, or if you're not a child, go watch some daytime soaps or whatever you adults do, I don't know. And anyway, and then come back and you're like, oh, these are super crazy and fun. They're weird, they're wrong, and they're different. And that's what makes them awesome. We're going to put 2 big jump rings, 2 little jump rings, and then 2 earring hooks. The earring hooks could go right on there, but they make those loops so small, I don't think it'll fit. Plus, if we put 1 big jump ring and an earring hook, it's going to turn it sideways. That's kind of cool too. This one, most of the design you can't see if it's turned sideways. So that's why you add, every time you add a jump ring, it turns it a quarter turn back and forth. So 2 jump rings, earring hooks. Voila.